just to, all you have to do is do this.
Who is it?
You good, Phil? Good afternoon and welcome to the Nassau County Board of County Commissioners meeting for 5 p.m. October 14th, 2024. I'm going to call this meeting to order. Please stand for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Invocation will be given by Mr. Irving Gilliard.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Our Heavenly Father, we honor you, we praise you, we give you all the honor, and give you all the glory. And Lord, we're just so thankful tonight for how you blessed this county during the storms. And we just owe it all to you. You just are a good God to us. And Lord, we ask a blessing upon those that were affected by the storm, that there be a speedy recovery, and a blessing to those that lost loved ones. Just continue to comfort and be with them. And we ask a blessing too upon our Board of County Commissioners, that as they go through this agenda and make decisions concerning the citizens of Nassau County, that is done in the best interest of our citizens. Continue to bless those that support them, the county attorney's office, county manager's office, and those that support them. And we ask a blessing too upon our first responders as they go through dangers they see and dangers they don't see. Continue to bless, keep them safely and their families. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Commissioner McCullough.
Here.
Commissioner Gray.
Here.
Commissioner Farmer.
Here.
And Chair Martin.
Here.
And absent is Commissioner Hupman.
Do we know if he's on his way?
I was informed that he was
Okay,
not going to
all
be
right.
present.
Well, we have a quorum. County Manager, do you have any expansion or deletions to the agenda?
I do not, sir. Thank you.
County Attorney,
I have not, sir.
you getting promoted tonight. Did you get a little bit of pay raise for?
Sure, I'll take
Okay.
it.
So, normally, we have public comment for non-agenda items at the end of the agenda. But I tried to get the next two presenters up here on the agenda under presentation, but they didn't really need 15 minutes each to do that. So I'm going to use a little bit of chairman's, what's the word I'm looking for? Come on.
Discretion.
Chairman's discretion, or, yeah, that's what it is. And I'm going to let I'm going to move, I've only got 3, so I'm going to let, tonight, we're going to make an exception and let the public comment for non-agenda items go at the beginning of the meeting. Now, if I see a dozen people go back there and fill out comment cards, I may change my mind, but right now I only have 3. And so we're going to go right into that, and the first presenter is Mr. Joe Snowberger. Please welcome and please state your name and address for the record.
Thank you. Good evening. Joe Snowberger, 3801 Crown Point Road, Jacksonville, Florida. Mr. Chairman, thank you for being here this evening. Are we displaying? Great. I am with the United Way of Northeast Florida, and I run a program called Mission United. As you guys most should know, up here in Nassau County, part of Northeast Florida, you live in the largest population of military and veteran family members in the state of Florida, the 3rd largest concentration of such in the nation. And with that said, 10% of your population are veterans, and you add family members and military families that work in Kings Bay and that work in Jacksonville, you've got a very pro-military population part of your segment. In today's economy and today's impact, finding those resources and support for those young military families struggling to meet ends, and especially our vulnerable veterans in today's economy, is tough. I've met for several weeks, Mr. Chairman, with members of your community, strong veteran organizations from the Coalition of Homeless for Nassau County, your veterans associations, the Veterans Council, Barnabas Center, the Hope House, the Vietnam veterans. All those folks do a great job at helping those military families and veterans in need. Sometimes all those resources aren't available. Today, I want to report to you, Mr. Chairman, that your county is strong with people who want to take care of the people who served us and made our liberties available to us. But I also want to come here and bring you a backup. In addition to what Nassau County has to offer, I want to make sure your council and your county is aware of the United Way of Northeast Florida services that will help not only just the veteran population in need, but all folks that have needs for basic needs or services that they may not find in Nassau County. That would be the 211, 988, and Mission United. By dialing 211, all your citizens can reach an information resource specialist that can provide them with basic needs, rental assistance, and other things that you might not know about in Nassau County. Additionally, 988 is available 24/7, 365 to help those people in crisis who need somebody on the other end of that phone. And then for the military and veteran population, we have Mission United. Mission United, just like in the service, we provide a battle buddy or a shipmate that's been there, done that, sent the postcard home. As a matter of fact, the face you see on the left, one of our veteran peer care coordinators that holds the hand and works one-on-one with veterans trying to figure out how to work that very complex system of care that you saw in the previous slide, was my client a year ago. Homeless, down on his luck, really struggling with PTSD. Now, just so far in this first quarter of the year, he's helped 215 veterans get on board and figure out that complex system of care. So my mission is complete today, sir. I just wanted to make sure that your county was aware. By dialing 211, your folks can get an information and resource specialist to help them down that path. 988, there's somebody there for them 24/7. And then there's a whole team of veteran peers that have been there to help your military and veteran families find those resources. Following me is Dr. Laura Lane from the Veterans Housing Supportive Program and Changing Homelessness to talk to you about a surge in your county on Friday. To specifically, we're bringing a lot of people in your county to go out to the county and identify unsheltered and homeless veterans and attempt to offer them opportunity to get into shelter and on their way to supportive veteran housing. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here and share that resource for your county. We love being a part of your neighborhood. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate what you're doing.
I'll let-
Well, he already introduced you, Dr. Lane, so please come on up. Welcome. State your name and address for the record.
My name is Laura Lane, and I live at 452 West 69th Street in Jacksonville, Florida. And as Joe mentioned, I work only on the unsheltered issue, and we do have a surge, so we're calling it a unsheltered veteran surge. Our Northeast Florida region was picked by the VA as one of 6 communities in the nation to support this surge. And I have 2 flyers, and I'm happy to share them digitally or hard copy. But basically, on Friday, we have at the Pet Community Center about 7 partners coming, and we have outreach teams as well going out to all areas of Nassau County. At the Pet Community Center, we'll have resources for all veterans who are unsheltered. And the outreach teams are going actually to talk with and survey anybody who is homeless that they identify. So we have maps, we have drivers, we have transport, it's all planned. And I just wanted to tell you quickly about a meeting this afternoon. We had 7 partners at this meeting. And we only started meeting probably a month and a half ago. So I just want to echo what Joe said. There's a lot of strong community spirit here, and I feel like it was easy work to bring together the folks who are in the homelessness services with the folks who are really concerned about veterans. And we're just I'm very pleased. And I see a lot of future for not just homelessness services, but also for the veterans getting involved to help their own. So thanks for letting me talk about Friday, and we need volunteers. So let me know if you want to volunteer.
So go ahead and repeat that, this coming Friday.
Yes, we're starting early.
At the
So
PEC Center.
It's at the PEC Center, And we're going to start at 7 o'clock. I'll be there probably like 5:30 to set up. But we have outreach teams going out in vans and cars. We also have resource representatives at the PEC Center. So please come. Of course, the Coalition for the Homeless will be there, and other, like I said, 7 partners from Nassau County, so.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Ashley, I hope I don't butcher your last name, Rutenbeck. Did I get it right? Yes. All right, welcome. Please state your name and address for the record, and you
Yeah.
have 3 minutes.
Sure thing. My name's Ashley Rutenbeck, and I live at 5215 Roselle Street in Jacksonville, Florida. And what a wonderful lead-in for what I'm about to talk about. I'm the Vice President of Veterans Village of Northeast Florida. We're a nonprofit dedicated to supporting our veteran community. Before I begin, I just want to express gratitude to Amy for her assistance in giving me all the information to speak here today. I'm also joined by 2 of our board members, which include Sharon Lynn Unger, who's our founder and the president of our nonprofit. And together, we're just here to share our mission with you and seek your support. So at Veterans Village, our mission is to build a 125-acre tiny home community off of US 301 for veterans, providing sustainable housing and reintegration opportunities for veterans and their families. This community aims to go beyond just offering a roof over their heads, but we're creating a pathway to stability, self-sufficiency, and renewed sense of self-purpose. Our initiative comes at a time when the need for veteran support is more urgent than ever, as many service members struggle to find the camaraderie and community they once had during their military service. We recognize that addressing veteran homelessness requires a multifaceted approach. That's why our community will not only offer housing, but also access to resources such as mental health services and financial literacy programs. These services are designed to empower veterans to rebuild their lives and thrive in civilian society. We've seen firsthand the impact of these services through our work, which has been inspired by experiences like our founder's time working for Florida Fallen Heroes, where she witnessed the deep challenges facing many veterans. Now we're taking that passion and knowledge to create real, lasting change. Our community will serve as a model for what can be accomplished when we come together to support those who've given so much for our country. We realize that achieving this vision will require a lot of funding, and that's not why I'm here today. We currently have fundraising initiatives and events in place, but it also requires collaboration, community involvement, and strong partnerships. That's why we're here today, to share our mission and ask for your support in helping advance it. Whether it's through spreading the word or connecting us with community members, your support can make a significant difference in the lives of veterans who need it most. Through projects like ours, we aim to restore a sense of purpose and belonging for veterans who often struggle to find their place after service. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Ms. Rutenbeck, if
Yes,
you
sir.
don't know Dr. Lane and Mr. Snowberger, I recommend you be able to link up with them today, because you all seem to be on the same mission.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. That brings us into consent items. If any board member wishes to move a consent item to new business, please do so now.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move tab F in the new business.
All right. Anybody else? Any other items? All right. Does any member of the public want to speak on a consent item? All right, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of tab F.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second that, Mr.
I have
Chairman.
a motion from Commissioner Gray, seconded by Commissioner McCullough. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, tab, under new business, doesn't have my blurb on here. If any member of the public would like to speak on any item under new business, you can do so now, because the only item we have under new business will now be tab F. And fill out a comment card, or you can wait until, well, actually, if you want to speak on this tab, you would want to do so now. Seeing none, we'll move into tab F. Accept the Department of Homeland Security 2024 Port Security Grant Award, contract number CM3758 in the amount of $995,936 for a, and I'm going to get corrected here because I know it's not a 39-foot coastal flat response boat fire rescue vessel, and authorize staff to submit the acceptance electronically. And so if you had moved it from a consent agenda, I was going to, and I already given Mr. Ironman a heads up on that, because this is a good deal. It's a lot of money, but guess what? It's not all coming out of our pockets, and we're getting an even bigger and better boat than what was originally listed here. So Mr. Ironman, you've got the floor on tab F.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So when we were going through the budget process for 24-25, one of the discussions in that was the funding of this new boat. We were highly optimistic at that point in time that we would be successful in this grant, and so we have been awarded the grant. We'll round up to approximately $1 million with a 25% match, so our $335,000. That match is coming out of impact fees, so new development is helping to offset the cost for its increased capacity within the fire department. One of the great things on this, and sometimes timing is just perfect, right? So we're working with the vendor for a 39-foot boat, and we're having that debate when it becomes a ship versus a boat, but 39-foot. There is something with the production timeline. They received some additional contracts, and so by utilizing a pre-designed boat, we will have additional cost savings, but that also means we'll be working to accept a 48-foot boat with 4 motors instead of 3, so that'll provide us a little bit more operational power on the water. That additional cost, I'm informed, is about $20,000, so it truly works to the county's benefit, not just in receiving the grant money to fund most of this, but even working with our vendor, we've been able to get a better deal on that side.
Any questions for Mr. Ironman? Commissioner Gray?
Yes, sir. Mr. Pope, I believe me and you had a conversation. This is a wonderful news, $1 million grant, and we're getting a 48-foot boat versus 39. We scaled back from a 4-engine to a 3-engine, now I find out we're getting another 4-engine. So this is really good for citizens of Nassau County. But where this boat's strategically placed, the rapid response with a population in the port is going to be really, I'd like to see this boat in the water. We can get together and, as a committee, as a board, or whatever, in the water and not be staged on a trailer. So we can have it utilized really good, fast. Yep. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Through the chairman.
Commissioner, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, County Manager.
As I say, it will not be a trailered boat, it will be in the water. And then just to give a little more context, it is a fire boat, and so it will have 4 turrets on it. So 1 on the upper deck, 1 in the front of the boat, and then 2 on the sides. And so it is a vessel designed to put out fires from water.
And rescue, correct?
Correct.
Commissioner Fong?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, one of the biggest reasons that people live here, move here, visit here is water. I mean, let's face it. I mean, we're surrounded by water. So at the end of the day, it's a huge step in the right direction for Nassau County's Fire Rescue Department, especially when it comes to offshore rescues, various types of marina emergencies, or, just any type of emergency that is relevant to, close by the water. And I know that the chief is extremely excited about it, and our people are going to be really extremely excited. But who should be the most excited about it is our residents, because at the end of the day, we're filling a gap that's been there for quite a number of years now, and we have bridged that gap with other resources and smaller boats. So to have a boat of this size and this magnitude, being an offshore fisherman, I'm going to tell you this is tremendous, because we get people all the time that get swept out due to rip currents, or we get issues with stranded vessels, and this will give us the opportunity to be able to go get those people back on dry land where they belong, where they're safe and sound with their families, and then we'll worry about getting their vessel home, some other manner. But this is tremendous. I'm really excited about it, and that's why I moved it to new business, so we could talk about it a little bit.
Okay, I just have a couple of things I want to say. Another good thing about this is we only have a 25% match, right? So, I mean, it's hard to get money from Tallahassee. That's going to lead into my next comment. It's hard to get money from Tallahassee or anyone else for this, and when you can get it where you don't have a 50% or more match, 25% match is a good deal. It'd be great if we didn't have any match, but 25% is a really, really good deal. And the other thing is, I want to thank and show some appreciation to the City Commission of the City of Fernandina Beach, because they initially were going to put in, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think my memory serves me correctly, the Fernandina Beach City Commission was initially going to put in for for this grant also. So we would have been competing against each other for it. And so then had some discussions with them, and they decided not to apply for the grant and support our application for the grant. And so it's going to serve, it's going to serve the city well too, not just the county area, but the city well too. Both the city and the county fire department are going to work together and utilize this boat. So if there's no other comments, I'll entertain a motion on tab F.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion from Commissioner Farmer, seconded by Commissioner Gray. Any further deliberation, comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, that brings us into quasi-judicial public hearing. Okay, the following matter under consideration is a quasi-judicial matter, and the quasi-judicial procedures will be utilized for the following. The county attorney will read the procedures.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Copies of these procedures are available at the entry of the chambers. The following item, tab T, consider FD 23-004, the final development plan for the Nassau Crossing Plan Unit Development, Parcel B for 316 multifamily units, 77,250 square feet of retail space, 49,250 square feet of office space, 17 cottage units for multifamily live-work units, and associated infrastructure and open space. This item is being considered a quasi-judicial hearing. So a quasi-judicial hearing by state and case law is different than a regular hearing conducted by this board. It is a less formal than a court hearing, but similar procedures and evidence matters. Applicants have the burden of demonstrating through competent substantial evidence that his or her application is consistent with the following requirements. As for tab T, Land Development Code LDC, section 5.07, subsection C, submission requirements, and section 25.05F, procedures, and ordinance 2017-42, as amended, and ordinance 2020-29. Those opposed must also demonstrate through competent substantial evidence that the application does not meet these requirements. General objections without specific evidence does not constitute substantial competent evidence. The applicant is entitled to be represented by counsel. If any applicant desires to continuance to obtain counsel, you may come forward to make this request at this time. Seeing none, the board has the discretion to grant or deny this request. The only material or relevant evidence is that which addresses the previously listed requirements. Therefore, the hearing procedures are as follows. Staff will be sworn in to describe the applicant's request. Staff will have 10 minutes. The applicant may waive their presentation and rely on staff comments. If the applicant waives their presentation, they will have the right to rebut any testimony against their application. Do any applicants wish to waive their presentation at this time? If so, please come to the podium and make that request at this time. I'm seeing none. The applicant or representative will have an opportunity to present evidence for the application and will have 10 minutes for this presentation. If the applicant has witnesses, the applicant will indicate the name of each witness and the subject to be addressed. The applicant's witness will have 5 minutes each. The applicant may also call the zoning official or other staff members who are present as witnesses to ask them questions as well, subject to the 5-minute rule. Public participants for or against this application will be sworn in and will have 3 minutes each to provide testimony and present evidence to the board. Extensions of time may be granted through the chair. Sharing or transferring of time is not allowed. Public participants presenting evidence for or against the application will address the board at the podium. Any documentation or photographs must be submitted to the clerk when an individual is testifying. Those documents will not be returned as they become part of our official record. As a quasi-judicial hearing, large number of individuals for or against a particular item will not be considered. The applicant or applicant's representative may then cross-examine those presenting evidence, subject to control by the chair and the county attorney's office. Cross-examination shall be 5 minutes for each witness. The applicant will have a maximum of 10 minutes to provide rebuttal as to any evidence presented. Staff will have 5 minutes to provide final comments to this board. The board will then close the public hearing and discuss the application. They may ask questions of the applicant, staff, or witnesses for or against the application. Any motion of the board should include whether the board member finds competent substantial evidence in the record and/or testimony received to support the board's decision to approve or deny the item. This meeting is being recorded, therefore there can be no applause, outbursts, talking, or comments from the audience, as it could distort the recording. The Office of the County Attorney represents the board and provides counsel, including advice as to hearing procedures and relevancy of evidence. The strict rules of evidence applicable to a court proceeding will not be utilized. However, the board, with assistance from the county attorney's office, may exclude evidence that is not relevant to the code criteria as set forth in the application or is repetitive in nature. In accordance with Florida Statute 286.000105, any person who decides to appeal a decision by this board with respect to this matter will need a record of the proceedings, and for such purposes, he or she may need to ensure that a verbatim record of the proceedings is made. If anyone has any questions at this time regarding these procedures, please come forward and ask those questions. And I see none, Mr. Chair, so we may proceed.
Thank you. Before I go into my script here and for this public hearing, so that anyone that did want to speak and have 3 minutes later on, after aside from staff and the applicant presentation, you need to fill out a comment card, so that you're not going to be, if there's anyone out there who wants to comment, so you're not rushed, go ahead and get a comment card and get it filled out now and give it to the clerk, okay? All right. Tab T, FD 23-004, ex parte disclosure as to Tab T. Ex parte disclosure including emails, letters, site visits, and any other forms of communication. Disclosure shall include who the communication was with and the nature of the communication. Disclosure should state the substance of the communication. Commissioner McCullough.
No, sir, I have none.
Commissioner Gray.
Yes, I had a conversation with Mr. Mattavina regarding the project.
And that's, okay.
And it just talked about the project in general, the units. It's a final development plan. It's not a rezoning or anything like that. Yep.
Okay. Is that good enough?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Farmer.
None. And
And I have none. Madam Clerk, please identify the documents to be placed into the record for tab T.
FD 23-004, staff report, 5 pages, a final development plan, 12 pages, monitoring report for Nassau Crossing Plan, unit development, 3 pages, application, 5 pages, agent authorization, 1 page, September 17, 2024, planning and zoning board motion, 1 page, and staff PowerPoint presentation, 9 pages.
I'll entertain a motion to accept the documents into the record for tab T.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Farmer, seconded by Commissioner McCullough. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The public hearing for tab T is now open. Staff presentation. I know you don't need it, but I'll remind you. You have 10 minutes.
Do you swear or affirm testimony to give this matter, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. It's Joshua Macbeth, Senior Planner, Nassau County Planning Department. Thank you, Honorable Chairman, Honorable Commissioners. So this is FD 23-004. This is a final development request for Nassau Crossing Plan Unit Development, PUD, specifically for Parcel B. So there was a Parcel A, there was a Parcel C, and now we're focused on Parcel B's. Applicant owners, Patriot Ridge LLP, agent England, Thames and Miller Incorporated, and this is in Commission District 3. So the site's located just off William Burgess Boulevard on the north side, just west of the railroad tracks, just east of North Harts Road. Here we have US 17 and the future county road extension back to the school on Minor Road would be off over here. But we're focused here on Parcel B. Parcel A was up here to the north. Parcel C was the park down here to the south. And we have another image of that. So here's the final development plan that's been submitted before you. It was approved by the Development Review Committee on July 30th, 2024. It's important to note this is in the William Burgess District overlay. So there are enhanced design standards associated with this. We have a mixed-use development, architectural requirements. You can see that the parking's behind buildings or to the side of buildings. It really promotes a more walkable environment with shade trees, angled parking, different street typologies to create that environment that's both a destination, creates public identity, but it's also a place that you can live, work, play, and stay. So background of the PUD requirements, specific to parcel B, as specified in ordinance 2020-29, not to exceed 450 multifamily units, 15% of which shall be affordable, 150,000 square feet of retail space, and 150,000 square feet of office space. So the submission for the final development plan calls for 360 multifamily units and 17 cottage multifamily live-work units, so that's 377 total units, 77,250 square feet of retail space, 49,250 square feet of office space, and associated infrastructure and open space. So with that 377 total multifamily units, 15% or 57 units shall be affordable at 80% AMI or less. And so in addition, there was a clubhouse on this final development plan, a dog park, a future transit area, a park area, there's a public art component, and there's a trail system that ties back into the overall development. Down here, we have those charts from the final development plan, so you can visualize where those numbers are coming from. So towards the back, you have 4-story, 360 multifamily units, several different buildings, each 40 units. And then the commercial component has a mixed-use live-work cottage product, office 49,250, retail 77,250. And off to the side, we showed you how those compared to the entitlement. So we're under the multifamily unit count, we're under the retail space, and we're under the office space maximums. So we're still within our entitlement. So with all PUDs, we attach an interim report updating, the status of completion. And this was one of those PUDs that had over 20 different conditions. And we're kind of down to these final 3 conditions that are left on the PUD. One of which is prior to the issuance of the 200th CEO or commencement of parcel B construction. Once again, this is parcel B. A cost sharing up to 50% of the cost to construct a roundabout at an intersection of William Bridges Boulevard and Harts Road. The total cost incurred by the applicant shall not exceed $402,000. Applicant shall not be required to construct a roundabout until such time as the county is prepared to provide their share of the cost. So the latest on this, this came before you as tab I on April 22nd, 2024. It was approved and authorized by the chairman to sign contract CM 3465. The site plan was approved. It's basically anticipated to commence within 60 days, which should have happened. Realistically, of hurricanes, rain, and associated weather conditions, it hasn't commenced yet, but it's anticipated to be commenced within the next couple weeks, hopefully. But we'll keep track of that and make sure that it stays on track. But that is one of the special conditions of this PUD, and weather permitting, that will commence. Also with this commencement of parcel B construction, the reconstruction of William Bridges Boulevard from Harts Road to US Highway 17 in accordance with the boulevard street type. This includes placing overhead utilities underground, sidewalk zones, including, on-street parking, streetscaping, street furniture, and stub outs for all cross streets. This is not commenced yet. And then prior to the issuance of the 350th CO, or at the time of William Bridges Boulevard reconstruction, applicant shall construct or cause to be constructed a pedestrian crossing of the rail line at the intersection of the railroad right-of-way and the right-of-way of William Bridges Boulevard, and this is not commenced. So these are the 3 remaining conditions. As parcel B develops, we should start to see these commence and be completed. So going into the PUD document, this was a representation of parcel B. Here we have the William Bridges Community Park, which was parcel C. And then up here we have a portion of parcel A that was shown, and they're connected by trail systems. But parcel B is unique in that it's a mixed-use development. It's this destination that creates kind of a connection between the residential, the recreation. It is creating a unique experience that really capitalizes on that mixed-use William Bridges design overlay. And when we went out and inspected, you can start to see these public identifiable elements. So here at the community park, You do have these images that reflect the vintage railroad style. Even the bathrooms, even putting a rail car out there. It's definitely, we're seeing investment by these developers, and it's, we're starting to see more pride in the community and what we put out there. And that's really a reflection of these overlay districts that we've created. It puts a harder demand, but then we see a better product for the community. Here we have, with the final development plans, renders. And these renders start to show us these architectural styles that are part of that William Burgess document. So this is a representation of the vintage railroad style. It's more of a modern representation, but you start to see these decorative, customizations as we get to our eaves, these kind of materials and horizontal siding that are higher quality materials. Lots of fenestration requirements. It's, as you can see, we don't have that huge surface parking in the front of this. The parking's hidden behind these buildings, whereas you can still park. There's angled parking along here, but it's designed for you to get out and walk, but still have that visibility, those eyes on the street that create a safe environment. More importantly, we have all these additional intricate elements, such as these public art components, these wayfinding components, even the street lighting, we can tell is this more historic style. This is all, once again, a condition of those overlays. It's important to note that these are illustrative, the renders that are portrayed here. Staff will be able to, as these get submitted through the building permitting process, still ensure that these elements are portrayed in those permits with the elevation submissions. But renders, we can't hold people 100% accountable for those renders, but as we get those construction documents, we can compare the two and make sure those elements still maintain those vintage railroad styles. And this was also approved with the DRC on July 30th, 2024. So in conclusion, the proposed FDP has been reviewed by county staff. It's been found to be consistent with the requirements for an FDP pursuant to Land Development Code 507C2, Site Development Plan Review Submission Requirements, in Section 2505F, Plan Unit Development PUD Procedures. Proposed FDP is consistent with the adopted preliminary development plan found in Ordinance 2020-29. Proposed FDP is consistent with the adopted PUD conditions of the Nassau Crossing PUD adopted in Ordinance 2017-42 as amended in November 2018 and Ordinance 2018-45, and as amended in September 2020 in Ordinance 2020-29. Based on these findings, staff recommends approval of FD 23-004, the final development plan for Parcel B, the Nassau Crossing Planning and Development. And based on the record, evidence, and testimony received by the Planning and Zoning Board, they also voted a recommendation of approval with a vote of 4-0. Staff's available for questions.
Any questions for Mr. Macbeth? All right, thank you. Applicant presentation. You have, 10 minutes.
The applicant will need to add this presentation to the record. If there's a motion.
Hello, good afternoon. For the record, Casey Dindor with England, Timms and Miller, 14775 Old St. Augustine Road in Jacksonville, Florida, 32258.
Do you swear affirm the testimony about this is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
If you can please restate your name.
Casey Dindor, 14775 Old St. Augustine Road, Jacksonville, Florida, 32258. Okay. All right, Josh gave a great presentation, so I'll try to make this pretty quick, not repeat anything. This is Parcel B of the Nassau Crossing PUD, which is approved for mixed-use development. The future commercial details will be provided as they're refined and users are established. So for the purpose of this, we are demonstrating or proposing 360 multifamily dwelling units, 17 live-work units, and a total of 126,500 square feet of non-residential uses. That includes your retail and your office. The site plan includes a recreation and pedestrian network component, which is consistent with the overlay district, including a 40-foot pedestrian corridor to a public space from William Burgess Boulevard, a multi-use path through Parcel B up to Parcel A, utilizing the trail system in the future transit area, and it also proposes amenities for the residential component of the development. Wetland buffers, there's extensive wetlands on the site, so the buffers are consistent with the PUD requirements, the Land Development Code, and the Water Management District. And then in addition, the proposed development includes the design and construction for a portion of the William Burgess Boulevard, this segment providing access to the county park from Harts Road to the railroad tracks. The portion from the railroad tracks to US 17 has already been designed. So here's the subject property, as Josh pointed out. It is within that Nassau Crossing overlay, PUD. He has showed you the site plan, so just showing you the green areas on this site plan identify the pedestrian network and how access will be provided from William Burgess Boulevard up through Parcel C and Parcel A and through the development. You also have this wide strip here that is your 40-foot pedestrian corridor, and you have a central park space in this location here. The purple buildings indicate the locations that you're going to have your live-work units or your cottage units, those 17 units, as well as some retail, and then your red buildings are only retail uses. Anything remaining white on the screen that are buildings are your sole residential uses for the multifamily. This design includes a sense of arrival as you're driving through the primary corridor from the roundabout up. As Josh mentioned, there is some parking here to serve primarily your retail areas, but your primary parking areas for your multifamily are provided at the rear and the sides of the building. The development will also include the frontage and furniture zones as required per the William Burgess overlay. He has showed you your conceptual renderings. And then I guess just wanted to mention that Denton Floyd is a Class A multifamily builder, and they are the contract purchaser for the multifamily portion. Greg Matavina is the master developer. And with that, I'll be here for any questions.
Any questions?
Mr. Chair, as far as the clarification, did the applicant provide a copy of the presentation to the clerk?
I sent it to staff earlier in the week, but
Okay. We just need to
last
follow up, make sure we provide a copy to the clerk, and we would need a motion to accept that into evidence as part of the applicant's presentation.
So we can take care of that motion now.
Yes, and we'll just make sure, if staff has it, to make sure we follow up with the clerk.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to accept this presentation as evidence.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner McCullough. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Yeah, please just follow up. We've got to keep the attorney happy, or else we get in trouble.
yes.
Okay, so I'll now, any questions? Any other questions or comments? Okay, so we'll now call to the podium anyone who has completed a public comment card to speak on tab T. And I don't have any public comment cards, so we will move on. Since I don't have any public comment cards, there's no cross-examination, there's no rebuttal. Any final comments from staff? No final comments from staff. Any board questions for anyone? The public hearing for tab T is now closed. Board deliberation.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a comment, please.
Commissioner Gray.
Thank you. This is exciting, I tell you, to see Parcel B come along with A and C, the William Burgess District, 77,000 square feet of retail space, almost 50,000 of office space. I wouldn't mind seeing 150,000, but, this is a final development plan, it's not a rezoning. It just explains everything what we got coming. And just a big shout out to getting 15% of these units to be affordable housing. That's huge. Back in the day, when I was on the planning and zoning board, we worked with developers to get affordable housing, but we never put time limits and amounts and things like this. Now, we're getting a little bit better as we're growing up. So these 15%, is 57 units come into our community. That'll be 80% AMI or less. So this is really exciting. This trail system, dog park, is creating the whole PUD. It's going to come together really nice here in our community. I think people are going to really enjoy this new project. So I'd just like to make that comment.
Thank you, Commissioner Gray. Any other commissioner like to, questions, comments? Commissioner McCullough.
I was happy to see the William. I know that I've spent a lot of time with planning and zoning. We've really looked at that what the William Burgess District overlay looks like. And I think that high-quality standard, I'm grateful for the staff for that high-quality standard of building, for the construction, because when you look at that, I know public perception is backed, with them. And we probably all saw the news for Jack's article, and all of the comments on it were, I can't believe they're stripping all the trees and building this, but this was a PUD, this is a final plan. We're not rezoning anything. This developer has had his entitlements. And when I looked at that, it was actually almost half of the retail space. So of his entitlements, he is not using but half of what he's even entitled to. And so I think that you're gonna see a huge conservation component with that. And so if we're gonna have something, I'm grateful that our staff is putting in the highest standard of architect and building for that. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner McCullough. All right. I will entertain a motion for approval or denial of FD 23-004.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Gray,
I'd like to make a motion, please, sir.
go for it.
Okay. Based upon the record and evidence and testimony received, I find that there is competent and substantial evidence pursuant to the Land Development Code, Section 5.07C, submission requirements, and Section 25.05F, procedures, and Ordinance 2014-42 as amended, and Ordinance 2020-29, and therefore my motion is to approve FD 23-004. Sir.
Have a motion from Commissioner Gray,
Second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
second from Commissioner McCullough. Any further discussion, questions, comments? Remind me, County Attorney, is this a roll call vote?
Yes, please.
All right, so, Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Commissioner McCullough,
Yes.
Commissioner Gray,
Yes.
Commissioner Farmer,
Yes.
and Chair Martin.
Yes.
The vote carries 4-0.
Motion carries. All right. So that will move us into informational items. The tab U, the Board of County Commissioners newsletter for August 2024. There we go, Commissioner Gray's got it. All right. Once again, our staff and our PIO does a great job on this. Okay, general public comment. Comments can only be for items under the authority of the Board of County Commissioners. Time limit is 3 minutes. If you're here for general public comments, please fill out a comment card, and we'll ask you to come to the podium. Seeing none? County Attorney business,
I have none, sir. Thank you.
County Manager business,
I have no additional business, sir. Thank you.
County Commission items, Commissioner Farmer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let's see here where I'll start.
He's got his page and notes.
Yeah, man, you gotta stay on top of things, man. Northeast Florida Fair's in town. Come over to my side of town, ride some rides, get yourself some carnival food, walk through and visit with their exhibitors. It looks really good out there this year. If you haven't been out there, you wanna know where a lot of your, state taxes go. Well, we can thank our lobbyists for, plugging them back into Northeast Florida Fair, because at the end of the day, man, they got some really beautiful barns out there. The kids out there, especially on the agriculture side of it, they really, really appreciate the fact that, they've got places to get their animals up, on top of some concrete with some bedding and stuff. So it's made things really nice out there. If you haven't been out there, go check it out. They got those big fans out there moving around, so got a breeze. Man, it was beautiful out there. Went out Sunday and spent some time there. This Friday night, West Nassau has their homecoming versus Halifax Academy. They got a really good team this year. If you haven't been out to see the Warriors, I think they got one loss so far. So, they'll be having the parade, the homecoming parade, midday through the middle of Callahan. You'll see me moving around out there with those guys through the parade, and I'll be up in the press box calling the game. So if you see us up there, give us a thumbs up. Nobody up there works for any paycheck. It's all volunteer work, giving back to the community. So it's a lot of hours go into calling those games, between high school ball games, middle school games, JV ball games. I mean, we get to do it all. If it isn't me, it's Jeremy or Anthony or some combination of the three of us. And sometimes we don't have any of us, and we end up having to grab people out of the stands. So, it's nice to know that our parents are willing to come up and give us a hand, whether they be our eyes or ears or whatever. I'd like to thank everyone who continues to send meals and supplies to the closest areas that were affected by us, adversely affected by Hurricane Helene and Milton. Couple of my friends I'd like to give a shout out to, JP Parrott Barbecue, Johnny Parrott over in Callahan, Ruby Bubbles Waffles over at Polly Hodges, and Cowboy Q, Wes Watson. Those guys have been up there numerous times feeding people at no cost. And, you know, they go up there and basically put a donation can up there and say, if you want to donate to this, donate to it. If you don't, that's fine. The meals here are free. And it says a lot about our people, because if the shoe were on the other foot and we were the ones that got blasted by these hurricanes, those people from Waycross and Douglas and Adel and all the way across, back over into the Gulf through, the areas of Steinhatchee and those places that got beat up. Those are the places that we are, all of us, especially as, residents here of Nassau, we know these people. We might even have family in these areas. So, at the end of the day, to see our people going up there and time after time after time going up there and just donating this stuff, and through a lot of private inner workings of people out there putting their money together and purchasing the meat and purchasing the ice and the drinks and sending them, there says a lot about who we are as a community. And just want to give a shout out to them. Wes Watson here recently, he came by the house and grabbed up all my coolers, and I helped him load a trailer up. And he had, there was at least 30 or 40 big boxes of chorizo sausage made by Azar Sausage Company in Jacksonville. And he said every one of those were all donated. And so it says a lot about, again, about our community, our region, and there's a reason why people want to be here. But I'd just like to give a shout out to those people, because the collecting supplies through wipes, bug sprays, bottled water, ice, canned goods, gas generators, power cords, and also we don't want to forget those linemen that are out there sleeping in the back of their truck from our area that go up and help these other affected areas. Like I talked to several people at Okefenokee, where our guys, once they got all our power on, they switched gears and they went to aid Satilla. And so those guys are up there helping Ware County and some of those other areas up there get their power turned back on. So it's just really good to see the inner workings of it. FPL is another one, talking to our government affairs director, as soon as they got their lights turned on, they shifted gears into assisting these other outfits. So it's really good to see that work, and, just to tell the people out here that this is all going on behind the scenes. You may not see it, but I can assure you that it's going on. And it speaks volumes of who we are as a community. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Farmer. Commissioner McCullough.
I would second that, Mr. Farmer. I think we all know that everyone's working behind the scenes, and he hit on the fair first. So of course I'm going to bring up a big fair, and I had spoke to IT before about zooming in. Okay, so yes, we have brand new barns. All of the animals are on concrete, and so I'm going to invite everybody in Nassau County, Southeast Georgia, all around Florida to, am I moving? I'll be very still. Straighten it out, okay. To fill your freezer, okay, because this is we received over $1 million in grants for our new barns, but we also have 55 hogs, 10 steer, and 22 market lambs being auctioned off Friday evening from students from Duval, Nassau, Baker County. Of course, I'm going to tell you to buy a Nassau County animal. We have Yulee, West Nassau, and Hilliard students with hogs, with market lambs, with steer. We, of course, are going to tell the community that the best way to enjoy your meat is to go in with 2 or 3 people. Oh, zoom me out. Hold on. I'm sorry. Hold on. Is to go in with 2 or 3 people and honestly pitch in. But your average weight last year, your average price for a steer was $4 to $5 a pound. Some of these pigs with this many lambs, they're going to go for $2, $3 a pound, and you cannot. I personally haven't bought meat from the grocery store in years, but we did pull a Publix ad yesterday, and the cheapest on the beef prices, some of them were $13 and $15 a pound. And so you can go right here to hand-raised, all of it. I'm telling you, these kids, these animals have the best life. It's the best conditioned meat. It's the highest quality product you are going to get ever. So get with some neighbors, come Friday night, buy a steer, buy a lamb, buy a hog. Don't even have to go with your neighbors. You can be like Marshall. He's going to buy a steer, a lamb, and a pig, and he's just going to fill up all of his freezers from the FFA students. So that's all I have to say, Mr. Chairman, and thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
5 cent nickel? Sorry. I just thought about the NCAS, because a lot of people a lot of families had volunteered to take animals to empty the shelter for the storms. and a lot of those animals went back and did not get adopted. So we have lots of animals that, if you look at the post, these animals were great. They stayed in the house, they played up well with other animals and everything like that. So I just want to remind people, I know Miss Jackie's not here, but go adopt a dog this week too. Adopt a dog, fill your freezer. Thank you, Mr. Martin.
Thank you, Commissioner McCollum. Commissioner Gray?
Yep, very good, everything. Good job.
Okay, thank
Do I need to
you.
buy any animals or anything
Yes.
this year? Let me know. so I can buy
Okay,
some
yes,
stuff,
I got
all
you,
right?
okay.
All right, so I will be, I'm just want to share this with everyone. I'll be working and volunteering this coming Saturday, October 19th, at the Pirates Woods Neighborhood Fall Festival. And where all the proceeds at the Fall Festival is going to benefit St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. And if you'd like to come out, I'll be in the dunk tank from 4 to 5 p.m. And if you want to try to dunk me, come on out, see how good
I'll be at the fair,
how
sir.
strong your arm is, you know. But it's a wonderful charity event, and it's going to be helping children. And just want to do a big shout out for all the volunteers and the community that's doing this, putting it all together. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then secondly, I'm going to make it short. I want to thank all of our staff, county manager, that gentleman back there in the back, that deputy county manager, Mr. Robert Companion, our county attorney, Amy Bell, our planners out there. I mean, you know, they're our best and greatest asset here in Nassau County. So our taxpayers got really great employees that work for them. I want to thank them for all their hard work that they do every day, and especially during the hurricanes. Marshall, I don't mean to leave you out or anybody out. I can't call everybody's name, but yeah, I just want to thank y'all. And Hurricane Milton came off without a hitch here in Nassau County because of our staff and our workers. So I just want to say I appreciate them. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Gray. All right, doesn't leave much for me to say, but I will piggyback on the fair. My granddaughter, Kenley, she's in FFA, and she's a junior at Yulee High School, and I went out there over the weekend, and she had to show her rabbit that she's had now for about a year and a half, her rabbit Ruby, because she's got these bright red eyes. And so I'm very proud of her. She made honor roll this semester and scored 100 on the presentation of her rabbit.
I see that. Hold on.
Yeah, and this coming Wednesday, she's going to be showing her lamb and then selling the lamb. That's going to be the hard part, because we told her when she got the lamb that the lamb was eventually going to become lamb chops. And so she said she's going to wait until she gets home to have what she called the hard cry when she sells her lamb, when she shows her lamb for auction on Wednesday. So it really is, I mean, I'm a city guy. I never really was, I grew up not around this kind of stuff until I got here to Nassau County. And now one of my grandkids is involved in this. And so, you know, it really is interesting. And there's a huge turnout of students that are involved in this from all over the area. And Nassau County is very well represented in that arena. No pun on words. Let's see. Commissioner Farmer reminded me of something he saw in our newsletter and asked me to put out that the next household hazardous waste recycling event will take place on Saturday, October 18th, 2024, from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. or until trucks reach capacity. And the location is 86200 Jean Lassere Boulevard in Yulee. And County Manager, could you help me out on that? What's the typical type of waste that is?
So if it's all right, I'm gonna do you one better. I see Mr. Podiak. Is he still here?
Is it Friday the 18th or Saturday the 19th?
It's Saturday, is the date wrong in here?
It should be the 19th Saturday.
Saturday would be the 19th.
Okay, well, that must be a typo. Saturday, the 19th then. Thank you.
Correct, and the type of material that they're gonna take cleaners, paints, solvents, they're gonna take some, I believe, printers and things of that nature, so it's gonna be electronics, supplies, anything that you would have within the house, so that'll be.
Is there a maximum per household that you take, or?
No, there's not, no.
Okay, so if you want to clear your house out of stuff that you don't really need to keep around anymore, this is the place to go.
That's the place to go.
Commissioner Gray, you got a question?
Are you accepting tires at this event?
I need to verify that, I don't think we are accepting tires at this event, those are generally special events just for the tires.
I got a bunch of boat tires, 6 or 8 of them. I need to get out in the backyard.
Just take them off the rim.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, and I want to echo what, Commissioner Gray said. I went down to the Emergency Operations Center, and Congressman Aaron Bean made a visit there, and I was there for a couple hours, and Director Cooper, who did an outstanding job, him and his staff, gave me the tour of what each station does and how it works, and I sat in on a couple of their statewide calls, and we're very lucky here. We've got an outstanding staff. County manager does a great job, and his staff, and so everybody's mobilized. Well, a lot of people don't realize, when they ramp up this, we do a state of emergency, and we ramp up the EOC, it's not just like emergency management people there. We've got finance people there, we've got accounting people there, we got our road and bridge people. I mean, help me out with, the legal folks are there, help me out with any skill sets I'm missing, County Manager.
You're right, it takes the full shop, because while first responders are the ones that folks see out and about, procuring goods, making sure our finances are in place, and then a big one is the recovery component, where when we expend funds that are eligible for reimbursement through FEMA, if we don't properly monitor, track, and record those, we can't get the reimbursement. And so there's a whole team that's just working on that component. And so you're right, it takes a lot more than what people realize to successfully manage an incident.
And the call center was manned. I mean, I don't know how many calls they got. I think there were hundreds of calls that went in. And I mean, it's just, it really, when you see it in operation, like anything else, once you see it, you have a renewed appreciation for all the work and the expertise that goes into this. So kudos to everyone involved in that. And if there's nothing else, we are adjourned.